I'm Robert Cosi, publisher of Canadian Contractor, and this is...
Editor Steve Payne.
There you go. Used to be the publisher. Much better publisher than me.
But you used to be a framer.
I used to be a framer, yes.
How long were you a house framer for?
This belt was actually the last belt that I used as a framer, and that would have been almost 20 years ago. But still know how to swing a hammer every now and then, sort of. Anyway, listen, I'm going to show you 3 cutting techniques that we used to use on the job site when you had a whole bunch of 2x4 that you had to cut at one time and basically the same length. This is the way we used to do it.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
All
right. Use your big square. You can lay out your studs across the ground or wherever you want to do it. Here we're on a table. And then just take your big square and tap the end of the material like this. Well, there you go. See, there's one that's always going to fight you. This piece here. Tap the end of the material like this until you've got them all nice and straight across your level, and your level is straight across here. You know that all the studs are going to be the same length if you draw a line across them as they sit. So that's a really simple way to cut a whole bunch of studs.
Nobody would be able to figure that out if you hadn't showed them.
It's getting better. It's getting better. I knew he'd say that. I knew he'd say that. Okay, so that's pretty simple, right? The problem is that you've got to cut 5 studs and then put them down, and then you've got to put another 5 down, line them up.
Right.
It's repetitive. It's slow. So a much better way to do it is to stack them. All right? Like this. Pick the length you want. We want to cut it, let's say, that long. Now, just going to make sure they're lined up nice. Okay, we're going to cut the top one. And we've got a line for the second one. Right? Keep going. You can stack these. With the square, you can only do maybe 5, and then you got to do another set, right? But with this, you can stack them, whatever, 10 high, and you can cut a whole bunch at the same time. The thing you got to be careful of is start off with them level at the end right here, and also, as you go along, the error will compound. So sometimes what you want to do is cut maybe 5 or 6, and then take the first one that you cut, right? And then use it to start again, and that'll reduce the error that you're compounding through the set of studs that you're cutting. Do you want to give it a try?
No, I'm good.
No?
That's
you sure?
Fine. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So there are 2 really simple methods to gang cut studs. Now, if you want a little more accuracy, and in some cases the studs have to be a little more accurate than what we're doing now, you don't want to measure, well, can you imagine? Okay, here we are. Taking your tape measure out, you want some accuracy, so you go like this, and you go, yeah, 26 inches, 26 inches, for 30 studs. It takes too long, okay? So what you're going to do, in certain circumstances, it depends on the circumstances to a large degree, because sometimes this is easy to do, sometimes it's not so easy, sometimes spreading them out across a driveway is easy, sometimes stacking them up is easy. You just go with what works at the time. Here, set this on the end of the piece that I'm going to use as my guide, and simply use it as my measuring board. So I can use that board, make sure it's cut exactly where you want it, make sure this cut's nice and straight, mark it, mark it, mark it. Now, one thing you should do if you're using this technique is this piece should be shorter than the width of your 2x4. Because if you're marking them and you have 2 pieces of 2x4 sitting beside one another, you don't realize it,
right?
And it's longer than the 2x4 you're cutting.
Yeah.
You might put the marker on the wrong 2x4, make your mark, and then you're too short. So what you want to do is make sure that piece is a little shorter. That way, we're going to avoid making that error. This can sit right beside it.
Cool.
and I won't make the mistake. All right, next time, what we're going to do, yeah, there was the wedges and something else really, really good, and I can't remember it. You can't read my mind.